everybody, and welcome to the Focus on Greatness podcast. I am your host, Hiram, Roche, and on this platform, it's men helping men redefine greatness through service. And so today is going to be one of those great conversations that I truly believe is going to give us some new insights and be able to really have a great conversation to see how not only in our service, but being able to see this context of greatness just through a man's everyday life. And so I want you to make sure that you're a part of this conversation. And so I also need you to do me a favor. Before we dive in, I want you to share this. Share this with your family, your friends. I want you to be able to put this out so that when we get into this conversation, those people that need to hear this and need to be impacted by this conversation are a part of it. So if this is your first time being on this platform, if you're watching this on Facebook Live, if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this for the first time on the podcast, I want you to do me a favor. Just let me know. Just say, hey, this is my first time on. If you're on those different platforms, make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay a part of these conversations, because I believe that these type of conversations that we are having help to develop us and give us the things that we need to become great. So, are you ready? I know that I am. Let's dive into this conversation. The gentleman that we have on today is one that is very dear to my heart. It's one of my cousins / one of my friends. We all have that one, I believe, that in your family members that you gravitate to, you've always had a bond with. And this gentleman right here is one of those for me. And so today, we're really going to have an opportunity to kind of learn about his storyline, learn about some of the things that he do, as well as what he's doing now. And I believe some of the things that he is doing right now is what we talk about in this podcast. And that's serving. He's serving so many different people, but it's in a unique, special way. And I love the way that he's doing it. So let's dive into this conversation. And I want to introduce everyone to my cousin and my friend, Travis Threat.
Hi. That's the intro I was waiting for. I got to get an intro, man. I got to get an intro.
That was a good intro. Yeah, so before we dive into our conversation, I told them your name, but tell them about you. For those that don't know you, have never seen you, have never had the opportunity to know who you are, introduce yourself to the viewers and the listeners, and then we'll dive in from there.
What's going on, people? My name is Travis Threats. What I do, oh man, you talking, that's a long list. We ain't even gonna go into what I do, but I have a amazing product. I go by Viewable Moments Photography that I've been doing for almost a year now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Almost a year.
Yeah. And I love it, man.
Hey, man, I'm trying.
Yeah, I love it. And this is actually what we're going to dive into. So I want to be able to allow the audience to not just know about this concept, but I really, when we talk about people that do photography, normally we bubble them in one.
Oh, yeah.
Every photographer is the same across the board,
yeah.
Type thing. And so what I wanted to allow people to be able to see is what you do, and the uniqueness of it, but also be able to give people an understanding of why you do what you do. Mm-hmm. I think it's very important when we think about the craft or the gift or skill that we have for people to understand not how good we are, because they'll see that in the evidence of the work, but also really clearly understand why we do that. Like, how did this all begin? How did this all start? And then we'll build and get to where we are today.
Such a loaded question, Charles. You want to know?
Yeah, let's start where we started, and then we'll build from there. Yeah,
let's get on the train.
So how did you get into photography in general?
Man, I'm gonna say it was probably around 7th or 8th grade that I kind of had a camera in my hand. Mm-hmm. And it's super funny because I didn't know it then that was the start now.
Right.
Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because you never know, especially like when you really get into like your purpose or your calling or something like that, you never realize where it started, and then you're like, oh snap, that was back then when I, so you never know. But yeah, around 7th, 8th grade, I kind of had a camera in my hand. Even around high school, I would always take pictures. I was always behind the camera.
Right.
Didn't even realize like that I enjoyed it, because you never enjoy anything in like high school. When
Right.
you're young.
You're
just doing it to do it.
Right. Literally.
And even when I was about 13, at a shop, I did I was in, behind the scenes doing the video camera and all that.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
I did all that. And again, not knowing that, that's what it is, man.
Yeah.
But, that was just more like and I had a real knack for it back then. Didn't pursue it at all, because I just thought, everybody, all your parents just tell you to do something.
Yeah.
They always tell you to do something.
Yep.
Like,
Just gotta do something, put your hands to the plow.
All the good stuff that you just kind of like, all right, sure,
Right, literally.
I'll do it. But so I did it, and I had a knack for it, and I had a real knack and passion for it. And then it just went away. But like that was the start. I could definitely say that was the start, because I have pictures from back then.
Right.
And it's just like, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now we'll get into this part a little bit later. That this guy is literally the picture guy. So any pictures that we need as a family, I literally am like, hey, do you got a picture of?
Yeah.
And he's the one. And he's the one. So what made you jump back in it? Because we're talking about years. Has now expanded between that moment and now. What made you get back into wanting to do photography again?
Man, it's the reason why I call it Viewable Moments. Man, to go back to the why, I always wanted to do a business. I wanted to do it, but it was just, I didn't know what. I didn't know what yet. I knew I wanted to do something creative. I knew I wanted to do something that I really enjoyed, something like that. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't know until my father passed. And but I didn't know until he passed. And then when he passed, it was like, man, you know what? I wish I had that particular picture. I wish I had that particular moment. I wish I had that. And then you just realize, and then I realized, like, you know what? Even all the pictures that I did have of him, I didn't have enough. Like, man, if only I took this picture with him, if only I would have took that picture with him, if only I would have just, and then it would have just been more of a good moment. Because I have like 3 pictures of just me and him. But like, he wasn't really that camera person, but I feel like I could have got it. Right. If I really wanted it, I could have got it. I could have got it.
Sure.
But, and in that, I was like, you know what? I want to make sure that nobody else feels that way. Like, I want to make sure, which is why I call it Viewable Moments. I want people to get those moments so that they can look back and, because the worst thing you can do is be like, dog.
Right. Man, I wish I would have did that.
Wish I would have had that. I wish, especially when it comes to funerals. When it comes to funerals like that, people are like, oh man, you got that picture of because you want all the accumulated pictures. And that's what that means to me. So when people are like, oh man, that's what Viewable Moments is all about, is making those moments last.
And then what that makes me think about is, it made me think about, you remember like back in the day, only reason I'm saying back in the day is we don't really use this concept anymore, where you would have like your grandmother or somebody, your old aunt or whatever, they would have that collage of pictures from generations to generations, and then kids, and maybe used to be out playing and doing all those things. As one of my things that my wife has, they have like binders of binders full of just moments. But then when you sit down and you're going back through those moments, you remember. It's like you go back in time. You know what I'm saying? You go back in time and you're able to feel those moments again. Remember how you was. Remember what was going on. And I think, being honest, that's with our time of generation. Even though we have like moved so rapidly with different things and capturing different times through our different forms of social media, I think the importance of things like what you do is not capturing just the moment where that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you doctored it up and made it look whatever.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
but it's capturing those real life moments of where, like you said, we can go back and look.
Yeah.
You know,
it's crazy because when you think of it, I tell people a lot. Photography is the essence of capturing time. It's the only thing that I can capture time, because what it does is I can snap this picture and you can have a visible moment of a time.
Right. Yeah.
And be like, this time. But then that picture, like they say, a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
All of it runs back. And then, like you say, you're like, oh man, you remember when we was da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
You remember when we was da-da-da-da. And all that,
Yeah.
all the moments come back. And
Yeah.
that's what I do love truly about photography.
And that's the piece I want people to think about.
Yeah.
Because we're in a fast moment. We're moving fast, rapidly all the time.
Yeah.
But the reality is, these are the moments that help us to stand still.
Yeah. Slow down.
I mean, because like, you know, again, the moment of why this happened is in reference to why it started this on, why it rebirthed this. You know, is a sad moment that we both know, a very sad moment. And for those that are listening or those that might be watching, and you know, this man, Charles Taylor himself, and the impact that he made. When that moment happened, it was a moment. It really shook everything within our, you know, in our family, in our home, you know, different things of that nature. But because of that moment, now you have this thing that has now rebirthed, restarted within you. And I think it's important because I know now, like, it's times where I'll be like, hey, T, I mean, do you got a picture? I'm having a moment, man, and I need a picture of, remember when we was but these are moments where it's like, this is what we need. You know, and I think for this scenario, specifically for this scenario, and this is, we're not going to drag this and make this a sad episode, so don't be worried about that part.
That's good, because I don't want to cry.
We're not going to do that. But
I don't want to cry.
But for these type of scenarios, I'm grateful that you took the amount of pictures that you did. Because the reality is, again, we didn't have them. So when we needed something, we were able to go and be like, hey man, remember that picture right here? Or, you know, we was able to go back and capture these times. And so I think it's great for the type of business that you're in, as well as, again, this helps for other people that are watching, that are listening. You know, he is a traveler, so he will go wherever you choose. Just throw that plug out there.
Wherever you want to be.
But again, I think it's important that we think about this because, again, surely in a time where you can connect, you can snap a picture anywhere. But it doesn't keep the memory. Sometimes it doesn't capture that moment the way that you need. And so I'm glad that you did, and that we can go back and think about these moments, or talk about, you know, why he dressed the way he dressed, or, you know, we can go back and talk about how he would do what he do, you know, or you can literally hear his voice when we're looking at different pictures because we know what that moment was. So shifting a little bit in reference to what we're talking about, because we're talking about in reference to capturing a moment. What is a moment, now that you've been doing the business, what is a moment that you've captured that you can be like, man, that was a good moment? It might not be yours personally. It might be just something that you've done since you've been doing the business.
I mean, I've done so much array of things. I've done anything from family photos to concerts to clubs to this to birthday parties. But I can remember a couple moments. I was doing a concert and I captured this moment, and when I look back at the picture picture doesn't even do it justice. Like, because it was such a crazy good moment that you're just like, man, that was good. Like, you know, it's like that was a pretty good moment. Or like capturing. I was just telling my friend that capturing her moment with her son, and them laughing together and capturing that.
Right.
It was one of one of those moments that you just like, oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Like that was perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to be. Or certain pose that someone does. It's like, oh, that's it. And it's just like you say, man, it's the essence truly, man, of why I genuinely love doing what I'm doing. Is to give people those moments back.
Yeah. Now, let me ask this, because one of the things that you do is you're very versatile.
Yes.
So you don't only capture moments with people, but you also capture moments in the sky. You be capturing moments with birds flying, and I was like, dude, you capture these. It's a whole lot of movement that you're doing. Like when you're having, what made you really be that diverse versus just capturing moments with people?
I love art. And so art is very versatile. Art is very out there. Art is very left, sometimes it's right. And I didn't realize how much I love landscape until I moved to Colorado.
Wow.
But I love landscaping. I love street art. You don't even realize what moments happen until you see it in the camera.
Wow.
You just be like, oh, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh wow, I'm glad I got that. You know, but it's that's what it is. It's just it's an aha. It's like, oh, that's good.
Right.
Oh man, that's great. And you don't even realize sometimes I'm driving now and I'll just pull over. I'll just pull over and be like, hey, you know what? Hey, it's a great moment. I don't even realize that I'm doing it now because I so love capturing moments now. I love capturing people walking down the street. And you don't think it's good until you see the picture. And then you're like, oh, snap, that's really good.
Right.
You don't realize the bird flying and it's hitting the right spot. And it's like, bow.
Right.
And you don't even realize until you're like, yo, that was really good. I liked it. But it's really all about that. And I chase that. I chase moments. That's really what it is.
Right.
I'm chasing moments when it comes to landscaping. I'm chasing moments when it comes to street photography. I'm chasing moments like that. When I'm doing families, I'm chasing moments. I tell people, when they have little kids, it's like, sorry, little kids just running around. Right. I'm like, no, that's fine. Right. Let me chase the moment. Yeah. Because you're going to get it and then you're going to like it. And then you're like, oh, man, I'm glad you got that.
Right. Right. No, and this is good. All right, so this is my cousin. So because he's my cousin, he understands his cousin as well, and I can shift this whole podcast very easily. So I'm gonna stay on point. I'm gonna stay on point and not move. But what I will say is this: for those that are watching and listening, is I want you to start in the business that you're in, with the dream that you have, in the relationships that you have. I want you to start chasing the moment. Capturing the moment. Now, you might be like, man, but I ain't no photographer. I can't do, take no pictures I can't do it like that. But sometimes a lot of what we talk about, me and you, a lot of what we talk about surpasses pictures.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's the moments that we've captured in our minds. Yeah. It's the times that we took advantage of, while we were in the moment. One of the things that he always tells me is, Hiram, sometimes just enjoy the moment. Slow yourself down and just enjoy the moment.
You got to.
So I encourage you, as you're listening to this conversation, I don't want you to just look at this and say, oh, he's talking only through a photographer's conversation. Yeah. No, these things that we can capture in life. We can take advantage of the moments that we're in, the times that we're sitting in. This is a moment. Yeah. Us having this conversation is a moment. Yeah. Y'all understand the backstory of it, but this is a moment in and of itself. You know what I'm saying?
You're right though. It's right. It's all about, and it's funny. It's all about being still.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about. It's about being still. Like you say, we're in such a fast pace.
Yeah.
Such a fast paced world, and sometimes we don't slow down. Yeah. We can accomplish things and just keep going.
Yeah.
We ain't accomplished it.
Right.
We ain't accomplished it. It's just hey man, did I just graduate? I think it happened, but I don't really realize it because everything's going. The kids are still growing up. Bills got to get paid. Still got to go to work. And you just rush it. You're just rushing throughout the day. And that's why they say, man, as you get older, time goes faster. Yeah. Because you're just rushing. Yep. Because it's every day I got to do the same thing. I got to do this. But sometimes if you slow down just a little bit, just slow down. Yeah. And just sit in the moment. And then that's an actual picture. That's the moment. Yeah. Just sit in it. Just, man, that was good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now let me go back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta get back. You know,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you have to slow down in those moments, man.
Yeah.
Because what happened is you'll miss, and this is one of my dad's favorite quotes, man, and I will cherish it to this day. Sometimes we miss the possible things chasing the impossible. Because we just want things to be so impossible. Like, it's just got to be so miraculous that we'll miss that one thing that was just possible.
Yeah. No, and that's what I don't want you to miss.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, I don't want you to miss. And I want to make sure that y'all, as the listeners and viewers, make sure that you take advantage of the moments. I'm in a scenario right now, where I'm in a transition, and so because of this transition, currently I'm not at home, I'm not with my wife and with my kids. Yeah. And so when I get a chance to be able to sit with them or get a chance to talk with them, I'm trying to capture that moment. I'm sucking literally everything into that moment because it's memorable. Yeah. Those moments are memorable for me. And so I want to make sure that we do the same thing in reference to, as all of us, just really being able to take advantage of each and every moment. I do want to ask you this question. It's two phases to this question, but it's a question because, okay, as a photographer, there are things that you can see that I can't. True. You know what I'm saying? There are things that you can see that I can't. And you've been a part of a lot of different modes. Yeah. You've been in concerts, like you said, you've been in, family photos, you've been in, I don't want to say riots, but in rallies. You've been in different type of modes. Mm-hmm. What is one moment, I want you to think about one moment that you saw something that the people didn't see. Like it was a moment where y'all moving too fast. No, you missed that right there. That was a moment that happened, but you as the one that's now capturing these images or seeing through a lens are focused on what's happening and you were able to catch a moment.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's weird because even though people have their phones, they're not in the moment.
Right.
Like that's the weirdest thing.
They're not right. They just like but they're not in the moment. But they're missing stuff that's happening all around them.
Man, there was this is a crazy moment. There was a moment I was doing a concert and they were going. Crowd was crazy. Crowd was wild. They was going in. Which is always great. Everybody's into it. And then all of a sudden, the person jumps. To the crowd, and it's in them moments, capturing that moment, I was just because I caught him in midair, midair, crowd, stage over there, and it's just what? But then as me, I'm just that was it. Shoot, I'm so glad I was here because as a photographer, what you try to do is you try to be where other people are not. Mm-hmm. I try to be in the moments that you think you're gonna forget. Yeah. Even as whether you're doing weddings, whether you're doing, you try to be where you are not. Yeah. Yeah. So when you do see it, you're just what? I missed that? Right. I did not know I was gonna miss that. Man, I'm so glad you captured that. Right. Man, I'm so glad you got that. And that's when it's yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is, man.
All right, I know. We're just gonna have fun with this, man. Hey, listen, man. We're just gonna have fun with it, dude. So, have you ever been in a club scenario and you went and you was taking pictures and you saw that one person that's really not enjoying the night in the midst of a group of people that's this whole night is a banger. Yes, I'm so glad. Hey, but you got that one person in the crowd that they're I wish I was at home.
Yeah. It's the funniest thing as a photographer. You don't realize it's weird how some people are in the moment and some people are so out of the moment. Mm-hmm. They could be texting right now. They could just be arguing with their girlfriend. Right. It could be something, and they don't even care. But as a photographer, like you say, I'm just looking for moments. I'm looking for moments. Oh, he's definitely not enjoying this. That guy definitely wishes he was just somewhere else, so I mean, this could be. It doesn't have to be a club. It could be at church. It could be at It could be anything.
Right.
A family reunion, like certain things, certain birthday parties. Right. You just like. I'm only here because it told me to come. I'm not here. I don't want to be here.
And you can tell.
Yeah. And then like it's like, bow. And I tell people when I take pictures, how you feel is exactly what it's going to show. It's exactly how it's going to show. If you are upset, today, it's going to show. If you're happy, it's going to show. It's going to show. It's going to read. Your face will read the whole picture. And then I'm just look at you like, this is your moment.
Yeah. And you just messed it up. Like, we just captured you being mad.
I like snap a picture and be like, is this how you really feel?
Right.
Is this how you feel? And they be like, nah, man, I mean, jeez, man, let me fix my face. Like, hey, man, let's turn on some music, man. Let's get you better, man. Let's get you hyped.
I'm thinking in my mind, I'm visual, so I can see everything's going on. So let me ask this. Where's the best place you've gotten your connections?
Man, the best place, man. Facebook has been super, super dope. I've gotten a lot of connections that way. Because once I do post those pictures and people post it or share it or I tag somebody and people really enjoy it, people hit me back like, hey man, that was a really great picture, man. You know how much you charge, blah blah blah. You know. So I think Facebook for me right now has been a really, really good avenue. Shout out to everybody who has supported, who has shared, who has liked it, who has commented, who's even helped me out. I've been only doing this for almost 1 year.
Right.
So this is special. This part is special, man, because I'm almost about to hit 1 year. And I want to say I greatly appreciate anyone that's let me take the pictures. I truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
And for all of those that are watching and you say, I have never seen a picture that he has done.
There's no way.
I want you to make sure that you take advantage. All of the information, his social media, everything that you need will be in the description. You can be able to check him out.
Viewable Moments Photography. Just in case it's not dead. Viewable Moments Photography.
It's down there. Don't worry about it. This dude right here, man. This dude is
Viewable Moments Photography. And she said, you in Colorado Springs, Denver, Pueblo, hey man, I will fly to you, man. Wherever you want, man.
Oh man. All right. So I'm gonna ask you two not funny, but two questions.
All right.
They're not funny, but it's just
Let's go.
If you could capture any moment, what moment would you capture? Like, just say, even not limiting yourself in any form, in the time and era they were in right now. What is a moment, just say in the last year or so, what is a moment that you wish you were behind the lens?
Man, that's all right, I have this thing with lions.
Oh, man.
No, man, seriously, I have this thing with lions. I don't know what it is. I just, you know what it is? It's the Lion King. I'm telling you. It's my favorite movie. I just got a thing with lions.
Oh,
but I follow this guy who lives in Africa, and he captured this lion, but it's just such a great picture. I was just like, dang. And I do that a lot with people that I follow. I'll look at it and I'm like, dang.
Right.
If somebody was there and I didn't capture it, I'm like, how are you? Dang. I missed that. But I would love doing that type of nature and seeing that. I'm telling you, it's something that you don't realize until it's like, wow. It's just and it's to me, this is just to me, it's not to everybody, but it's like watching your baby's first steps. Yeah. Do you remember that? You remember your kid's first steps?
Right. Yeah.
You remember that? So do you have a picture of it?
Nope.
That's what it would be like.
Dang.
That's like,
that is dang, man.
I don't have a picture of that. I don't have a video of that.
Right.
Dog. But that's what it would be. It would be looking at that and bah. That was crazy. That's what it would be. That's something that I would just love to boom. But then there's certain moments that I do capture and it's boom. Right. I went to Hawaii. I went to LA. And I captured this picture that was just so mind-boggling to me. It's one of my favorite pictures.
I'm gonna try to put it up for those that are watching, so y'all can see and be a part of this moment as well.
Like, it was probably one of my favorite pictures, and it's funny because one of my favorite pictures is the picture that I took when I first got it, when I first got my camera. It's like beautiful picture, it's like beautiful, and I was just like in the moment. I took the picture and then I looked at the picture and then looked and then looked and then looked, and I'm just like, yeah, that was great.
All right, so here's another question. Is that question,
Yeah,
it didn't go where I thought it was going to go. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not gonna go.
Yeah,
it's not gonna go.
It didn't go where I thought it was going to go. So now I got to shift this whole context of conversation, which is cool. But where do you see yourself? Which is going to be difficult for you to answer, and for the people that know him, you understand why it's difficult for him to answer this question. But where do you see yourself with viewable moments? And let's just say 5 years. What does that look like to you?
5 years. I'd say having a studio. Having a studio. That would be dope. Having a studio that people can go to, or I love doing pop-up shops. Going into people's homes, and because people are way more comfortable in their homes.
Right.
I still would love to do that. Probably up in the financial just a little bit. Make a little bit more money. That'd be good also. But,
right.
But yeah, man, and just continually helping people capture those moments. Aspirations would be, I would love to do, go further with it, whether it's celebrities, whether it's, red carpet, whether it's, anything, man.
Yeah.
I would just, the crazy thing about me is even the way that I started this is to say, I just want to start. So wherever it goes, I just got to start.
Right.
And that part was the hardest part. Even if it doesn't go nowhere in 5 years.
Right.
The fact that I started it.
Right. Was already
enough.
Yeah.
Now, will I succeed? Will it be great? Will it fail? But I started it.
Yeah.
So if I started one thing, I can start saying.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so even if, like I said, if it doesn't go anywhere in 5 years, if I'm just all right, that was good enough.
Right.
But I will definitely say, even if I do continue with the passion and all that, I would love to have my own studio wherever I am, and just have people come to it. I think that'd be dope, man.
I want you to
Viewable Moments Photography.
Oh my Lord, this guy right here is he's an advertising by himself. I don't gotta say anything about it.
Yeah,
but what I want to encourage whoever is listening is don't delay.
Yeah.
If you have a dream, if you have an idea, if you have a concept, if you have something that you want to have. Now, I realize this, everybody's not a business person.
That's true.
So everybody's not trying to start a business. Everybody's not trying to do something lavish like that.
Support.
Yes, you can support the ones that are doing it, but I also want to advise this or push you or encourage you in this aspect. Yours might not be a business, but yours might be a dream for your family.
Sure.
Start it. It doesn't have to be the finished product.
Yeah.
It's just the product. It's just the purpose of starting it.
Yeah. People get hung up with the but where, I need that. In 5 years, it's got to get this, it's got to get that. And it's but just start, man. Now, we're talking, and I'm saying all this because what he's actually saying is what he says to me. Dude, if you don't stop, because there are things, there are things that I have shared, ideas, things that I have. There's passions that I have that he would say that would help the podcast in such a very variety of ways because of the passion and because of the heart that I have for what I'm doing. But sometimes it is this aspect of just being afraid to just start, being the uncomfortable feeling of, if I start, will it go well? Or if I start, will people actually want it? That whole piece. How did you get past, you're a different breed of people, for people that know my cousin, but how did you get past that entry point for just starting? But it's weird because
yeah.
No, it's weird. I'm gonna tell you why though. Because I have a huge fear of success. Huge fear of success. And you'd be like, "What? That doesn't even make sense."
Right.
But it's because I have a fear of success because I always think it's going to fail.
Right.
I always think it's going to fail. So it's like, if I try, it's going to fail. So why try?
Right.
If it's just going to fail.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, I think it got to a point to where I think me and you talked about this. I was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. I talked about starting a business. I was like, man, I really want to start this business. I really want to start this business. Right. He was like, oh yeah, man, go do it, man, go do it. You know, all the good things that everybody says, like, you know, when you want to do something. And my dad was an advocate for this. Right. Oh my God, my dad would push you to do. He'd push you to jump off and he just no parachute.
Right.
You just
no,
like,
you just
all right,
sure. Exactly.
All right, let's do it. But the thing that really helped is I had people that were behind me that supported me in the way I needed to be supported. Yeah. Because certain people will try to support people in the way that they don't need to be supported in the right way. Right. No, yeah, like, yo, man, hey, that I don't need that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because people who are like people think at times when, especially when you have a business, them coming to you with ideas for your business, at times they think that's supporting. Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They be like, I mean, but they won't ever support your business. No. I just had, you know, I had a great idea for what you should do. Right. This is what you should do. And then it's like, oh, thanks. Right. Yeah. But appreciate it. Actually, yeah. Right. So, you know, having those people who genuinely support you, you know, but it's not to say that people encouraging you is not good. But people supporting you is just as good. People encouraging you and telling you, hey man, I really appreciate what you're doing, man, keep going. You know, or people saying, hey man, how can I support? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How can I support what you do? I don't want no pictures, but hey man, you know, how can I support? Hey, share. You know, Viewable Moments Photography. But I'm saying, like, you know, it was definitely having those people to support, and even now, even right now, having the people that support me and the way that they support me and the way that I need it is truly, truly dope to me, man. Yeah. And I truly appreciate it. Yeah. For everybody who support everybody. Viewable Moments Photography.
This dude is wild. So...
But I mean, even, okay, because I know this is your, you know what I'm saying?
This dude has probably said Viewable Moments about 1,500 times in this podcast.
But hey, but even when you started your podcast, and I remember you started your podcast, and I remember you was like, man, I don't know, man. Because everybody, and it's crazy because everybody does photography. There's a lot of people that do photography. There's a lot of people that do photography. And it's like, all right, what's going to make mine unique? Yeah. Like, what makes this podcast unique? Yeah. Like, what makes it, you know, what is it? What is that you can do that you can bring to, you know, other people that may not know? You know, what I try to do, I really try to do is give people a different perspective. That's what I love doing in photography. Yeah. A different perspective. Whether it's a different perspective of you. Right. And it's just like, oh man, I thought I really couldn't take pictures. Like, no, you can take pictures. It's just, you know. Yeah. But that's what it is, man. A lot of, you know, people who support you in the way that you need to be supported at the time you need to be supported. Right. Because like I don't need the 10-year support. Right. I'm not there yet. Right. It's like that would give me anxiety. I start sweating. Like I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to do. But I need the support to where I am right now, or somebody who can help me just a little bit further. Yeah. You know, just that tad bit. You know, just that tad bit. Just a little push. A little push is fine. Yeah. You know, I definitely do believe that I have people in my life to help me support. Yeah. Whether it's my mom, whether it's you, whether it's, you know, it's a beautiful lady called Kate. You know, whether it's anybody. Right. You're gonna give me a trouble. So, no, but I believe in that context. I think a lot of business people in general, people that have dreams, they have things that they want to be able to create and cultivate that is actually supposed to be impactful to the world. Yeah. We're missing a lot of people doing it because they feel like they don't have that. They don't have that support. They really don't have that support. And so sometimes it is difficult to jump out there
when you feel like I don't have a backing. You know what I'm saying? When you feel like I have to do it alone, it can be very scary. You know, and so you're about to go somewhere. So when you feel like you have to do this thing by yourself, it's scary. And sometimes, you know, I've had conversation with people or heard stories or different scenarios where it's like, yeah, man, I used to have a dream to do. But then it was like, why you never did it? Well, you know, this person wasn't behind me. And it's like, but what your idea, what that thing was
amazing.
Was amazing. You know what I'm saying? You know, and so I don't want people to miss their moment in their life. Again, we're still, I mean, this all literally stays connected to this context, but I don't want people to miss their moment, because reality is, we both know this, is that you cannot do it in one season and try to do it in another, and it ain't working. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, I think it was Bishop Jakes in an interview. He was talking about Colonel Sanders. And he made a reference to, if he would try to do a KFC now, it wouldn't work.
That's deep. Yeah, that's crazy.
Versus when he did it, it was in a time where people were looking for home cooked meals, as well as it was a perfect time of where women were just walking into the working industry. So they needed a job. So it was a perfect moment. But if he would have missed that moment, we wouldn't be able to go to KFC.
I don't even like fried chicken.
I mean, but you're a different breed.
But you're right. It's weird because when you think of it, and to those people, I would say this, man, start, because that support may come along the way. And that is the part that really, like, because when I started, I mean, you have like, you're like, man, I don't know, man. I don't really know. But then when you start and you realize how many people, like so many people have supported my business that I didn't even know, supported me like that.
Right.
I didn't know.
Right.
But and then along the way, other people have been like, hey man, how can I do, how can I help you with this? How can I do this? So it's like, you don't be scared because you don't have the support now. Because as you go along in your journey, you may have the support in the journey. Right. You may have it in the journey while you're walking.
Right. Yeah. I'm because this is okay. Now we're tapping into our cousin thing. And this is kind of strange. But what I would do for the person that's listening, that you are this person that we're talking about. You're the person that has an idea, has something that you want to do, but you feel like if I step out and do it, I won't have the support. I want you to first, a wise woman asked me this question, and so it makes me think about this statement. What does support actually look like to you?
That's crazy. I don't know who that woman was.
Hey man, we're not doing that. So, what does support actually look like to you? Because the reality is sometimes we really don't have a clarity in our own self what that looks like.
That's true.
So we're saying we're waiting for the support before we jump, but we don't really know what support looks like. And here's the other real truth. The support that you think you need, you might not actually want it. Not even that you need it. You might not actually want it when you start doing what you're doing.
That's true.
Because you really don't know what your business, what your idea, what that actually looks like for support.
That's true.
So I want you to take the time to examine that for your own self and just look and say, okay, I want to have support. That's the only reason why I'm not jumping. But what does that really look like? Does that just look like somebody encouraging me? I'm your encouragement for the day. If that just looks like, if that just looks like somebody actually helping you financially, that's a form of support. If it's just somebody saying, hey, look, we in this together, then that's another type of support. So, but identify what that is for you and then start.
That's really hard.
That's hard.
It's hard, but you gotta start.
You gotta start
somewhere.
Right. I mean, like, for real, like, start. Like, I almost did a whole year without starting.
Me too.
But it was like, no, dude, you gotta start.
Once you start, it's weird because you don't stop.
Right.
Like, it's almost like, a kid when they get that first step. Like, once you get that first step, you will fall.
Right.
You will fall, you may even stumble a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get up, and then you keep going.
Right.
You said pause? Is that what you said? Hey, you just pause?
It paused.
Technical difficulties. Stuff, man.
Hey, man, this ain't got nothing to do with me, John.
I can tell you what, nigga, that shit's
It's
hot.
man. I'm over here baking like a...
Oh, it was a cool idea, nigga. Really, a cooling unit.
God, that's
Alright, still great.
Jesus Lord.
I was in the same thing. I was like, nigga, this is a bad idea.
Oh, way over here is burning. Man.
Oh, shit, no, seriously, dog. I was like, nigga, I don't know how to move my leg.
I've been rubbing my leg. I'm like, I'm hoping my daggone pants ain't melting over here. Man, listen.
Oh, snap. All right, I don't even know where I was.
Hey, man, Jesus, look, dude, goodness gracious, boy, I'm sweating and everything. So.
I know you are because I am, man. I was like.
All right, so
It's so hot.
It is so hot. So let's do this. I want you to be able to tell the people as an encouragement. Just like we've just been talking, we've been talking about this person that, we don't want them to miss their moment.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage them to start. I want to be able to do these different things. Like this person has something that we are waiting for.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
I would say this, leap. The most scariest thing you can do is leap. It's going to take faith. It's going to take determination. It's going to take everything, but just leap.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite quotes is from Abraham Lincoln. He says, I tried, I failed, and then I tried again. The worst thing you can do is to be that person and 10 years from now be like, man, you remember that one time I had that one idea and I didn't even do it?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't just leap, just try.
Yeah.
Even if it fails, you'll say, but I tried.
Yeah.
That's what I'm telling us. Just try.
And man, this has just been a very good conversation. We would be going on as you can see, me and my cousin, this is what we do regular. We just have real great conversation. And so I'm thankful that you took out your time to have this conversation and to allow those that needed to hear to be able to hear not only your story, but also your encouragement.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the encouragement is not just what we say, but it's actually also what we are living.
Yeah.
And so you're the living example of when we started, what the impact can be and how we can be able to touch other people's lives. And so thanks for coming on.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man.
Again, all of his information will be in the description below.
Viewable Moments Photography.
Yep. And so again, no matter where you are, you can be able to reach him. And I promise you, he will be able to capture the moments that you would not only want for the present, but that you'll also need for your future. So I love y'all. Thank y'all always for being here. Make sure that whoever needs to, if you are listening to this and you like, I know somebody else that need to hear this, please make sure that you share to encourage them for what they need to do. So thank you all again. Thank you for being with me, rocking with your boy. Thank you for coming on, man. And as always, we'll see you next time and continue to be. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I pray that this conversation was impactful to you in some form of way. What I want to make sure is that not only are you hearing and learning this information, but that you're taking the time to apply something some nugget, some piece that you took from this conversation that you can say, I can apply this for my life to be better. I want you to continue to be with me, and make sure that you're with me every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I love you all, and I'll talk to you next time, right here on the Focus on Greatness